What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Trout Wrangler Podcast. I'm your host, Ryan Garrity. It is currently Thursday, May 8th at 8:30 a.m. You guys will be hearing this on Friday at 7:30. Reason we are recording on a Thursday and releasing it Friday is we are momentarily leaving to go down to watch my younger sister graduate college in Athens, Georgia. So, quick shout out to everybody, all the seniors in high school, all the seniors in college graduating. Bittersweet moment for you guys. I know we've all been in college once. I graduated from East Carolina University in 2019 and miss college every day. I miss college, but not the academic aspect. The social, going out, hanging out with your boys, drinking natural light in a college bar that smells of mildew and like piss and alcohol. Nothing like it. Those are just those little things you'll look back on like a Tuesday in August and be like, damn, I really could use a lukewarm natural light at a tailgate, or really could use a shitty bush light in a mildew smelling college bar. Or like, you'll understand it when you get into the workforce. Sometimes I just sit back, I'm like, damn, the 50 cent like Milwaukee's Best would hit so different right now. But once again, congratulations to everybody. This episode is kind of geared towards the graduating senior in college. Once you graduate, what's the next thing? The real world. What's that mean? Your fishing time decreases significantly because, now when you graduate, you have to work from, say, 8 a.m. to 5, and it's like you don't have that flexibility to where it's like, I got class at 1 o'clock on a Tuesday. I can shoot up to the French Broad River and fish from 6 a.m. to, say, 11 on a Tuesday. That flexibility kind of goes away unless it's like holiday, but you still have great opportunity to fish. And I'm going to kind of break down how personally I maximize my day of fishing when I get the time to go out. And the time to go out is usually on a weekend, which means, when you go fishing on a weekend, it's going to be a little bit more crowded than, say, a Tuesday. Some of y'all might have that flexibility to where you work weekends, so you get a Monday or like a Wednesday off, which that chef's kiss. You're going to go up there. There's going to be nobody up there. You can have the entire river to yourself. Shoot, it's going to be golden. But, the people that work 8 to 5, 9 to 5, whatever you work, Monday through Friday, you get the brunt of that just absolutely crowded river. So I'm just going to tell y'all how I would break that down here in a minute. But since last episode on Tuesday, which awesome episode, if you haven't watched it yet, Eric Estrada out of Florida, absolute legend, super nice guy. But once again, I got so hyped up and letting him talk and asking him questions and just picking his brain that I forgot to do my songs that I had at the end of the podcast. So I'm going to take this front-loaded part to do that before we get into the big brute of this podcast episode. So my songs on here for the other day with Eric were Let's see. I had didn't mean to play it. Stories We Could Tell by Jimmy Buffett. Redemption Song by Bob Marley. Life's Been Good, Joe Walsh. And then Bears Gone Fishing, Widespread Panic, and Farmhouse by Fish. So those are my 3 songs, or my 5 songs, sorry. But let's get into this. So, like I was saying before, when you work Monday through Friday, 8 to 5, 9 to 5, whatever you do, and you get out to the river on Saturday, it is likely going to get super packed at some point. So, my first thing that I like to do, I'm going to start before I even get to the river, but so I jumped way ahead of steps. So, what I usually do before I even go to the river, I hop on, say, Google. I get on a map, specifically North Carolina, because that is where I'm from. Get on there and I start kind of picking blue lines that look good. They're in a particular area in Western North Carolina, somewhere I usually like to keep it relatively close. Somewhere at Mills River, Brevard, um, even Boone a little bit. Everything's kind of so privatized in Boone that it kind of makes it hard to get up there and do a good time fishing, but it's still up there, and there is good fishing up there. So look on there for like a blue line, zoom in, get the name, say the Watauga River. I'll zoom in and I'll get on the North Carolina Wildlife website, see where the delayed harvest is, see where the hatchery supported stuff is, the wild trout waters. And then I also like to kind of look around there to see if there's any unmarked wild water, like straight up natural native stream, just blue line in the middle of nowhere. I love fishing those because those native streams that are off the beaten path, you think about it, your casual everyday angler isn't going to want to walk up into the woods miles and miles and miles to get to a stream that wide, but it is filled with some of the prettiest native trout you will ever see, especially in the state of North Carolina. The native brookies and rainbows are so pretty in this state. It's not even funny. But so you look at those. Say you strike out at a blue line stream. I call the native wild streams blue line streams. Call it blue lining. I usually just call it wild trout water fishing. But I have been starting to lightly use the term blue lining. But people won't want to walk into those. But sometimes the thing is, those native fish are very, very skittish. Ooh, accidentally tapped my mic. But those native fish are very skittish. Very, very skittish. And when you go up there and do some of that stuff, it can be very grueling. You could start throwing rods. It can spin you out. It's crazy how us as fly fishermen can have a fish that big in a native brook trout, a native rainbow trout, whatever it is, drive our mind absolutely fucking insane. I've had it happen to me. If you fly fish a lot, you've definitely had it happen to you. You're like, you know what? I want to go up to a blue line stream today, catch some native fish. And you end up getting up there, seeing them, hooking some, and it just doesn't go your way. But what I usually do to do that is I also go on the map on NCWRC, South Carolina Outdoors, whatever your state's wildlife department is. I'll go on there and I will also look for, say, a hatchery supported section, um, a delayed harvest stream. So you know what? You're starting to spin out up on the wild section, um, starting to get kind of loopy on your mind. You're starting to crash out. Um, that delayed harvest stream can kind of be like your chill pill, Back off the wild water for a second, go down, get to the delayed harvest stream, put a few fish in the net, just kind of recuperate. You just got done crashing out, throwing a 3-weight against a tree because you didn't hook that native brookie. You kind of want to go and get your swagger back a little bit. I've done it. We've all done it. You got to go get your swagger back. What's better than to go down and whack away at some stalkers to get your swagger back? Those are two things I look for. Is a get your swagger back option, and then a good blue line stream, because we all just want to catch fish. Whether it's a blue line stream, delayed harvest stream, our main goal is just to go and catch fish. That is what I'm trying to maximize here, is that everybody can go out and catch fish on, say, your weekend fishing trip, while you're also working a full-time job, which sucks. You don't get to fish as much. We all have that battle with our life. But so after I start kind of throwing darts at a map, I go and you look closest town, see what your fly shops are in that area. Call them up. You don't want to call them up and be like, hey, give me a pinpoint dot where I can go catch 1,000 fish and give me every single fly you're throwing out there. You call them up. You ask them, be like, hey, man, what's up? I'm actually, say if you're driving from a long way, which I drive from Charlotte, North Carolina, which some of the better stuff is a good almost 3.5-hour drive. So call them up, be like, hey, I'm driving up from Charlotte and I am, trying to catch a few fish, whether it's a blue line stream or delayed harvest. I'm just trying to catch a few fish. You might be able to ask them, hey, like, can you point me in a direction for a wild stream? Thing about fly shops is they always have an option where they know people are catching fish, and they're going to point you there, which is good because people are catching fish up there. You're not going to go. I mean, you might go up there and zero because fishing changes day to day, but they always got a good place where they'll tell people that where they can go and catch a few fish. And most likely you will go up there and catch fish, but in some cases you will go up there and catch zero. And that's why you got to have that get your swagger back spot. But they will definitely tell you a good delayed harvest stream where people are catching them. They'll tell you good hatchery supported stuff. They'll tell you what river systems are fishing good. I'll be honest, not all of them will. There are a lot. The ones here in North Carolina have always been really good to me. I'll call them up, tell them I'm coming from Charlotte, and they'll say, yeah, man, of course. They're biting pretty good on the Davidson. They're eating pretty good on the, say, French Broad. And then they'll give you kind of like a little fly breakdown. They'll say, they're eating caddis flies, they're eating dries pretty good, or They're eating ant patterns. They're eating a dropper rig, say with a chubby Chernobyl up top, with a zebra midge or a perdigon down below. He'll give you the information that you need to go and catch a few fish. Which is they always have that information, and most fly shops that you talk to are very open and willing to give you that information, because what happens if you end up losing all your flies on the river. Where are you going to go to buy all your new flies? You're not going to sit there on the side of the river and tie them. You're going to go down to that fly shop and buy all of your new flies, something like that, and you're gonna give them business at the end of the day. So yeah, they're gonna tell you what they're doing, where they are. But another thing you can take a look at, and I have an episode that I will link in the description. It is a really good episode with Ian McCreary. He teaches you how to read a hatch chart. I was very, very new to the world of hatch charts before I started talking to Ian. He opened my eyes about hatch charts. You can open the bag as loud as you want, Maddie.
Be respectful.
You're okay. So yeah, we're leaving for Georgia. We're leaving for Georgia at what, 10 o'clock?
Whenever you're ready.
Yeah, whenever Maddie gets ready, we're leaving for Georgia. And once I finish and schedule this to upload, we're leaving. And we just got our breakfast. And Maddie was like sitting there opening the bag, making this face. I'm like, you can open the bag. But we get back to it. So Ian very much so opened my mind about eating, or not eating. Oh, man, I was thinking about breakfast. Reading hatch charts. Hey, can you bring me over my sausage, egg, and cheese?
Let me finish cutting mine. I need to cut mine up.
Okay. So yeah, so we're leaving right after this. But Ian definitely opened up my mind about reading hatch charts, and that's one thing that I love to do. Thank you. We're gonna do a
mukbang.
Oh, what'd you say?
A mukbang.
Okay.
So you eat all day
Okay. We're gonna do a live. They didn't cut this damn thing enough. Do a live review. Look at that thing. I'm a big sausage, egg, and cheese bagel guy. Look at that dang thing, man. We're gonna take one bite. One bite. One bite. Everybody knows the rules. I don't know if that's copyrighted, but if so, sorry, Dave Portnoy. I'm also a Boston guy, so don't sue me. But one bite. Everyone knows the rules. I'm gonna take this off, or I'm gonna back up a little bit so it doesn't sound like a cow eating grass on the camera. Fantastic. Give me 15 of them right now. But go and read your hatch charts. My hatch chart currently is a sausage, egg, and cheese bagel. That thing I'm about to mow here in about 15 minutes. And it's going to be delicious. And then I'm going to get in the car and drive 3.5 hours south to Athens, Georgia. Probably consume a few alcoholic beverages. Not on the way down there. Never drive with an open container in the car. But it's only illegal if you get caught. So, read your hatch charts. We just went on a little tangent there. I'm sorry. This goes for dramatic effect. But read your hatch charts. And usually, sometimes around here in the Southeast, they have hatch charts, but they're not I want to say widely used. I know Davidson River Outfitters has one on their website that's actually really good. But you can also look at them on North Carolina Wildlife. I'm pretty sure they have pretty good hatch charts on their website. So read those. They'll give you a good idea as to what to fish from a standpoint of like midges, caddis, mayflies, whatever presentation you want to use. It will give you a good starting spot, I should say. And then get all your stuff. I usually like to tie up all my flies. If you don't tie flies, you can stop on the way up. Find you a good fly shop like between or on the way to your spot. Stop in, get you your flies, and then get to the river. So before I even leave to go to the river, I like to have all my stuff in my truck out so I can either put all my stuff in the car the night before, or I can just grab it all on the way out. It's just one of those things. I like to do that because I want to absolutely minimize the amount of time I have to take before leaving. Because it's like I don't want to be making like 4 or 5 trips down to my truck to throw stuff in and get going. I want to take the least amount of time, get on the road as quick as I can. And that starts, I want to say, the night before. Usually if I'm going, I bring like a few cameras. I like to bring my like legit picture camera, and then I like to bring like a GoPro just in case some cool shit happens. And then I also like to bring my drone to take pictures from way up high in the river and stuff like that. I post a few videos here and there, but I usually like to have all that charged. Sometimes like I'll charge a GoPro in the truck on the way up there. That's nothing. But like to have all that already charged, already in a bag, already in that stuff. I like to check all my fly boxes, make sure I have everything I need. I like to draw. I could make a whole episode about this one part in particular here. I like to make sure I have a route out of the woods or a route to where I can get to safety as soon as possible and try and flag somebody down that can say shit hits the fan and I fall and I have like a broken arm or something like that. Always have an exit strategy to where you can safely get out of the stream and get to a place where you can either pick up your phone or flag somebody down that has service and say, hey, I need an ambulance. Can you please get me that? Always have that exit strategy. And you always, when you're planning for a trip like this, that you got to plan for everything. You got to plan for shit hits the fan. Fuck, I'd plan for if there's a damn earthquake and the Earth's core opens up. There isn't really a way to plan for that, but you got to plan for the unexpected. You got to plan that I always leave early because you also have to plan. You never know if your truck is going to get up the mountain safely or you don't blow a tire or something. You got to put in that extra buffer in case something happens. My good friend Jairus Bush always talked about that. He's like, you always gotta plan for the unexpected. He's like, so if say like you want to get up there at say 7:00, if it's me, I'm leaving at 4 just to have that buffer window, Sometimes you might want to go and stop at the McDonald's for a McGriddle on the way up there. You might see a new fly shop that you haven't seen before, and guess what? You planned to have time for something to happen. If something doesn't happen, guess what? You can stop that fly shop. You can get yourself a McGriddle at the McDonald's. You can stop for an energy drink. If you need to stop for gas and you didn't get it the night before, you can stop. So I like to have all that stuff already done before I even leave the house. Exit strategy, check for your flies, check for your first aid kit, check for water. That's one thing I always like to bring with me is water, Gatorade of some sort. Beer's your thing. Check your cooler for beer. And then, so pack something, like a little something for lunch. Hell, even a little like granola bar for like a midday pick me up can do some numbers, man. But always pack like a little bit of something, like a little snack, something to hold you over until you get back on the road to come home, or you get back to the campsite. Once you get back to the campsite, guess what? You can drink all the beer and cook all the cheeseburgers over the fire that you want. So, that's just a few things that I like to do before going. Then, like I said, on my way up, stop, get some breakfast, something light. You don't want to be shitting the waders out in the river. That's never a cash money thing going on there. That is not good. If you're out there, you ate a big. Now, see, even eating a McGriddle might be a little bit risky at times, but they are good. So I know my stomach can handle an early morning McGriddle. I've never shit my waders after eating a McGriddle, so that's a plus. But don't go and eat like a massive breakfast, because if you're out in the middle of nowhere, no bathroom, and those eggs start throwing fists in your stomach, and you're thinking you're gonna shit your waders, that's not a good deal. That's a lot more cleanup than you want to do in your waders. Maybe have a ruined pair of pants. You might not have any changed pair of pants. Boom, there's another trip to the fly shop. You don't want to tell the dude at the fly shop that you shit your waders. You're like, I got to buy a pair of pants and some new boxers. Oh, why'd you do that? I shit my waders today. They're just going to kind of stare at you. You know what? Sorry for your luck, Chief. We got you right here. Go and buy a $200 pair of Sims pants. That's all we got. Then you're kind of handcuffed, unless you want to fish commando the next day. Would not recommend that in a previously shat pair of waders. I do not know that from experience, but my friend has done it. So once you get up there, no coughing during the podcast.
I'm sorry.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding. So once you get up there, if you have the option to already previously rig your rods and put them up in like one of those Riversmith rod quivers, do up your rods already, because my least favorite thing is getting up to the river and you just got done driving 3+ hours to go and fish, and you're sitting there trying to thread your tippet through the eye of a fly that's that big, or say you're putting your fly line and all your leader and your tippet through the rod, and that tippet and fly line and all that just slide right back down through the guides. That is the most infuriating thing that I battle on the morning before going fishing. that sucks. To the point where it's like I am heavily considering a River Smith rod quiver just for that sole reason. Because I just hate getting up there and trying to like rig up those rods after driving 3 hours. And then it takes me like 10 minutes because I do have fine motor delay. Fun fact, some people are like, how the hell do you tie flies? Don't ask me. But like I said, if you can have your rods already rigged up, do it. Because it saves you like 10 minutes in the morning. Once you have all that done, get down to the river and, sometimes I like to sit just for like, say, 5 minutes, listen to the river, look around, look for rising fish, look for flies or insects, flip over a few rocks, and then if you find anything, boom, you already have a clue as to what they're eating. You flip over a rock and there's an ant down there, or there's like a stonefly. Boom, they're eating stoneflies or ants, stuff like that. There are clues all around you when you're fly fishing. You just got to look for them. So take that few minutes and sit down and just inspect your surroundings for 5 minutes, sometimes even 10. Once you have that, man, get in the river and just get lost with the river and the fish that you're fishing for, man. I actually really, really like this subject of like kind of how like the whole preparation game is probably one of my favorite things of even fly fishing. And then I also deer hunt. That is also one of my favorite things about deer hunting is just like, that preparation game. Kind of sitting there and trying to find those puzzle pieces and put them all together to have a successful day out there. There's just like nothing like it. I think that is so much fun. But that's about all I got for preparation. And if you have any questions about this subject, dude, don't hesitate to drop me a DM, drop me a comment. I love talking about this kind of stuff. But that's about it. Just let me know if you need some help in that aspect. Not really need help, but if you have questions or comments, just let me know. But I got you, y'all, for this week's, this Friday's, what the hell? Trout season songs, trout tune songs for the playlist. So I did the songs that I had from the podcast with Eric. Now these are the ones for this week. So my first one, just an absolute legendary song by The Who. It is Baba O'Riley. Headed down to Athens. Miss football season like hell right now, so had to go with Baba O'Riley. And then Come Sail Away by Styx. I'm a big Styx fan, so that's just an absolute classic. Kind of blends that little bit of boating and fishing into a song. Come Sail Away. Thought that was a thing. And then, you know me. Always got to throw in my one Billy String song for the week. Gild the Lily. This is just one of those songs I like throw it on and just listen to the beginning half of it. But I do like the whole song though. And then, so yeah, Gild the Lily, Billy Strings, just a classic. Great song. Winds of Wyoming, Yonder Mountain String Band. I'm a big bluegrass guy, or I call it jam grass. That's what a lot of people call it now, is jam grass, new grass, bluegrass, whatever you want to call it. And then another daily rotation kind of band here is the Grateful Dead Franklin's Tower, 2013 remastered version. So those are the Trout Tunes songs for this Friday's episode. This will be releasing at 7:30, so be on the lookout. I might not have the screenshots up on the Instagram, or I might not have the links up on the Instagram yet, but I will put them up at some point tomorrow. Don't really know what the latter half of the evening after 6 o'clock really holds tomorrow, so we shall see. I'll get up all the links for the people on Instagram and stuff like that. So at some point tomorrow evening. But that's it for this week. Like I said, huge congratulations to the college seniors graduating this week. Enjoy the time. Enjoy your last beer at your college bar. Enjoy all your friends. And just enjoy those little moments in these last few days of school, because you never know when you'll see some of those guys again after you go your separate ways. But enjoy it. Congratulations. Comment or DM me if you got any preparation questions. Until next Tuesday, we're out. Once again, congratulations, college seniors.